So you'll never be ahead of 99% of the people unless you understand these three things. And you know what? I didn't realize this for the longest time myself, that your chances of actually starting a legitimate 7-figure business is not that great. It's just 0.3%. So let that sink in, that only 1 out of 300 businesses will ever hit that mark, that 7-figure mark. So that means that 99% of you out there dreaming of success and wealth and fame, you're probably never going to truly make it or not even get close. Maybe you get to 97, 98%. But that last 1%, they'll take it all. They will take all of it. Now you're probably wondering what separates the 1% from everybody else. Are they waking up at 5 a.m. every day listening to one of David Goggins' motivational stories about him completing ultra marathons? Or are they indulging themselves in those self-improvement books? Are they doing cold plunge therapies and they're journaling and walking on the beach and reflecting? What are they doing? Okay, I can tell you that most of them aren't doing that. The answer is actually very quite simple. The 1% are willing to do the things that the 99% are not. I'll repeat that. 1% are willing to do the things that the 99% are not. So now I know that may sound obvious, but there's been a trend. What to do, how to do it. A lot of videos about all of that stuff, claiming that they can make you successful, that 99% of the people in the world want. And guess what? It's the same old nonsense you hear every single day in every video. The first one is having realistic goals. Number 2, being more strict and disciplined. Number 3, removing all worldly distractions from yourself. And to be honest, and I don't know about you, but I'm really getting tired of hearing the same old spiel over and over and over again on social media. Think big goals, guys. Big, huge goals. You need a big goal. You don't need a small goal. You need a goal that's almost quite unobtainable to reach. That's what Steve Jobs did. That's what got him to be the CEO of Apple. That's really what he focused on, was the huge goal. You know, people have goals. My pilot has goals. You know, he's extremely disciplined, and everybody has their own distractions in life. There's nothing special about that. These things are not something that 99% of people don't do. Have you ever looked at the most successful people in the world and thought to yourself, wow, these millionaires did this and that by using the very same system that I'm currently watching about right now? But in reality, if everyone in the world can just go on YouTube and find thousands of videos telling you specifically on how to do it, wouldn't we see everyone becoming a millionaire pretty much overnight? But we don't, and it's an extremely rare occurrence to see that. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. So this won't make you more successful than 99% of people. By definition, to be more successful than the rest, you need to do what everybody else doesn't do, and that is the brutal truth. When it comes to success, the productivity hacks, the daily routines, most of that stuff is garbage. It just doesn't work. So stop doing it. It's not going to make you successful. People think that they're missing a strategy on things. Now, it's not to say that there are people that could use a better strategy in their business or life or sales or whatnot. But 9 times out of 10, what I always uncover is the reason people are not successful isn't because they lack strategy or because they're missing specific data. It's usually because, and I'll preface it by saying, if you go online these days, there's a vast majority of information out there, right? You can get on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, and within, 15 minutes, you can watch several videos of people like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger and these very ultra successful, sophisticated, intelligent business people talking about what it is that they've done to grow their businesses. And there's tons of books out there, right? There's tons of books, and a lot of these very successful people, they recommend a lot of books, but that's not it either. And what I have come to discover, having been around a lot of millionaires and billionaires, is the common denominator is not the cold plunges, it's not the getting up at 4 a.m. and running, and it's not the journaling, and it's not the strategy that this person had or didn't have and all that stuff. It really comes down to 2 things. The first thing is you have to have a little bit of luck on your side. I do believe that gaining and being blessed with a little bit of luck in certain situations in life definitely can springboard your success, right? Being at the right place at the right time. You know, when I got into the sleep industry, for example, back in 2012, there were not a lot of people in the sleep space. And a lot of the insurance companies and people that I was dealing with that I would go to during that time, and I would say, hey, you know, I have this product to offer, and it's we do this test, and it's an at-home test. A lot of them didn't even really know that the technology existed, number one. There was not a CPT code that qualified for that test, and there were other things around it that didn't really make sense at the time. And the insurance companies didn't really know how to accept the test, and what was the qualifications of the test. Was it a similar test to a PSG, which is polysomnography? You know, all of these things, there were questions about it, right? I was in an industry that was yet to be really defined. There were people in the space, but it wasn't, sleep apnea wasn't coffee table talk. You know, it wasn't what people were talking about at Starbucks. And it took several years. It took a half a decade while I was peddling my sleep testing services before it really caught on, before people really started to say, hey, with that sleep apnea thing that you're doing, wow, that's becoming quite the thing. And when people started saying it was becoming quite the thing, I was like, well, yeah, dude, I've been doing that for, 5-6 years now. And when I was doing it, people were wondering what the hell I was doing. So now, was my timing correct? Yeah, my timing was correct. And that's a big part of success. You know, if you read Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers, which is a great read, if you read that book, he talks a lot about Bill Gates and a lot of these successful entrepreneurs that just happen to be in the right environment at the right time, born at the right time, growing up in the right neighborhoods, all of these things. To me, that's a luck factor, right? It's just a little bit of luck that you were in the right place at the right time, getting in the right situations, opening a lot of windows and opening a lot of doors can definitely accelerate your luck. You know, the more people you know, the more people you get out in front of, those things are going to accelerate your luck. And that's what I did. I picked a horse, and I had to have a little bit of luck on my side that the industry was going to fill my sails with air, right? Because that's the reality, is it had to do that. Now, if it didn't do that, or let's say I was getting into the business now, would I have the momentum? I don't know. I don't think I would have as much momentum as if I started in the business today. The first thing is luck. You have to have a lot of luck on your side. The second thing that you have to have, that I've observed with a lot of very successful people, they just refuse to stop. If you're watching this video, you probably think, wow, Vic, that's such a simple thing. But I gotta tell you, it's probably one of the most difficult things of all of the things that you see online. To me, doing a cold plunge is baby play to not quitting. The guy that gets up at 3 a.m. and posts about it, that's baby play to not quitting. Not quitting is the gladiator move of all moves. It's the gladiator routine of all routines. It's getting up and going to work and not quitting. And the more you focus on that, as opposed to thinking that there's some gimmick, like there's no gimmick. I can promise you. It's just simply the fact of getting up every single day and refusing to quit, no matter if your body's tired or you don't feel motivated. You shouldn't operate on motivation. You should operate on duty. You should really operate on duty, because motivation is just BS. Maybe some days you feel motivated. Maybe some days you don't. Who cares? At the end of the day, you got to get up and you got to go to work. And you got to do what you got to do to make your life successful. And the more you do that, I think the more that God blesses you with luck on your side. If you don't do that, I don't think you necessarily get blessed with as much luck. But the point of the story is that's really the common denominator for people's successes in life. And I think what happens is people don't want to accept the roughness of that truth, right? The roughness of the truth is that that's really what it takes. And not everybody's willing to do that. I can tell you that right now. You may think that 99% of the people, it's easy and you don't quit. Or I can tell you, look, man, if you're not where you want to be in your life, whether it's your career or your business, it's because you quit on something at some point. You quit. You stopped working as hard as you know you should have been working. You didn't go to the meetings that you know you should have gone to. You didn't make the phone calls that that you know you should have made. You didn't confront the things that you know you should have confronted. You didn't have the uncomfortable conversations with the people that you know you should have. You didn't handle any of those things, and that's essentially quitting. You quit. You quit on those things that you know that you should have done. The gladiator would not do that. The gladiator is going to have those difficult conversations that he doesn't want to have. He's going to go meet with those people that he doesn't really want to meet with, but he knows he has to go meet with them. He's going to go do that. He's going to get up in the morning, even though he's worked 16, 17 hours the day before, and his body's tired and he hurts and he's in pain, but he's going to get up and he's going to do it again. And guess what? If that day doesn't go great and it's another horrible day and it's another day that he gets kicked in the teeth and he gets shot in the face and he gets trampled on by horses, he's going to get up, guess what? The second day, and he's going to do it again. And then if the next day he gets shot in the face and he gets trampled on by horses, guess what? Guessed it. He's going to get up and he's going to do it another day. And when you get that point, when you get that to sink into your mind, you will then understand why the 1% are the 1% and the 99 are the 99. Because the 99 are not willing to do that. They give up because it got tough. Life gets hard. So they quit and they give up. And then what they do, and this is very textbook, is they start to turn on everybody else, and everybody else is bad. Even though one day prior to that, they were all on the bandwagon and they were fight, fight, fight. Those are weak people. Weak people quit, and weak people then turn on those that are stronger than they are. And that's what happens. It's happened throughout history. It's happened for thousands and millions of years. They do movies about it, shows about it, there's series about it, Netflix series. There's all this stuff about these types of stories because that's what happens day in and day out. So going back to, if you want to be the 1%, if you really want to be the 1%, you got to be willing to never quit, and you got to be willing to never quit and allow the luck to fall on your side, which it will. I can promise you. The more you work, the harder you're committed to your goal, the luckier that you will get over time. It's almost guaranteed. Like luck favors, it's almost funny. It's kind of almost esoteric. Like luck favors hard work. Like the harder you work, like luck like sprinkles on you. And that's life. And to me, that's what really separates the men from the boys. That's what really, to me, gets me very excited about business. Like I love being a businessman because I love that part of life. Like it's war, man. It comes down to who's willing to quit and who's not willing to quit. And it's got nothing to do with how smart you are and all this other stuff. And what your cold plunge routine and all this BS. It's got nothing to do with that. Just get up and go to work.